This week, Erin and I were working in the kitchen. I was doing what I do best, which is chop up vegetables, and she was getting the rice ready, and we were going to roast those vegetables and have veggies and rice. So I'm working my way through all the vegetables, and we're just talking, having a good time catching up on our day and talking about what we had done and things that happened. And I got down to the last green pepper, and I don't know what happened. I guess I just got in a hurry, but daggone it if I didn't cut my thumb. And I cut it pretty good. At the moment, I could just tell that that was a good one. So I reached over and grabbed some paper towels, and I immediately applied pressure to the wound. Now, Erin kind of stepped over and said, "How bad is it?" I said, "I don't know." And she said, "Well, I'll take you to the emergency room if you need stitches, let me know." So I said, "I don't think it's that bad. We'll have to wait and see." So she finished up the vegetables, and I kept that pressure on it for a long time. And eventually I had the guts to look down, and I realized I wasn't going to need stitches, but man, I had gotten it pretty good. So I kept pressure on long enough to get the bleeding to stop, and finally I asked Erin to bandage it for me. Now, for those of you who know Erin, she can't see a wound or blood or anything like that. It will make her faint in a minute. So I had to be really careful, and I slathered it up really, really good with Neosporin so she couldn't even see the wound underneath, and then she bandaged my thumb. You know, right after that, I realized how sore that thumb was, and everything I tried to do that was natural with my thumb really hurt. And I started to pay attention to how much I use my thumb. Think about how important that thumb is with these fingers that God has given you. That's critically important, and the brilliance of God, He put it there. It's funny, just try and do some things without your thumb, like hold a can or a bottle. Even grab your steering wheel without your thumb. Tie your shoes, put on a belt, brush your teeth, comb or brush your hair, put on your makeup. Write without your thumb. Or maybe even just pick up your phone or send a text message. Now, a few people like to text with one finger, but for those of us who are thumb texters, that would really slow you down if you didn't have this thumb. And of course, I haven't been using this thumb to text this week. Now, this will get better. Thanks to God. I think that's a little miracle every time He heals our bodies, but it will get better. But in the meantime, I got to thinking how much I take my thumb for granted. And it's really got me thinking about everything I take for granted. And so lately, I've been trying to be careful to just thank God for the simplest of things in our lives. Our home, our warm bed, our cars to get us back and forth from work, not the newest or best or most elaborate or fancy cars, but they get us where we need to go. Thanking Him for the shoes that I have and the clothes that I wear, the clean water that we have to drink, and the electricity that turns on the heat and on the air conditioning. Not everybody has these things. So as I sit here today, you can kind of see it. There's a sign back here that says grateful and thankful. And as I've been trying to think about all the things that I'm thankful for that I take for granted, it got me to thinking about the people that I take for granted that I'm thankful for. And what about you? Those people in your life, your coworkers that you dearly love, that person at the checkout counter that you see when you go to the grocery store, or maybe that person who's your server at the restaurant, your neighbor that you dearly love and are so thankful that you live next to. When was the last time you told them how much you appreciated them? When was the last time you sent somebody a note and said, "I just want you to know how thankful I am for you"? See, we take for granted these things. We take for granted our church and our church friends, our pastor, because they're there. But they won't necessarily always be there. And so we need to remember how thankful we are and let them know. How about sending them a note? Send that person a card. Send that person a letter in the mail, or send them a text message with your thumbs, if that's the way you text. And just say, "You know what? I'm so thankful for you. Nothing here that I wanted to say other than that. I just am thankful that you're a part of my life because the Lord God put that person in your life." The Apostle Paul in Philippians 1 verse 3 said, "I thank my God every time I remember you in my prayers." We need to do more of that. Thanking God for the simplest of things, like a good working thumb. Not the deepest of blogs you've ever seen or heard or read, but pretty important. Be thankful and grateful for all those things that you take for granted in your life. And until next week, keep walking with Jesus.